just a quick tutorial on how to do a chain tensioning or adjustment on a John Deere 70 skid steer. I found it was easier to take the wheels off, plus I had them off anyways for other projects. We're actually converting the skid steer to operate on electric. Anyways, the process, we'll start with the right side. You will unbolt the gearbox cover. Be very careful not to damage the gaskets when you take it off. On each side there's a total of, on this side there is 6 bolts you will have to, or nuts you have to loosen. On the other side there will be 5. Now you want to rotate the sprocket until the hole is up. Once it's there, you will loosen the 2 bolts here, and then you go from the top down. If you most likely don't have a lift safe enough or high enough to hold this, and there are 4 bolts or 4 nuts. 1, 2, 3, 4. See them right there? You want to loosen all 4 of those, and depending on when the last time your skid steer was serviced, those may be pretty rusty, all of them actually, and you might want to, before actually doing this, start spraying them every day for like a week or two. Let some penetrating oil get in there and loosen those up. Some real deep, like maybe Seafoam Deep Creep or PB Blaster. Then, so what that does is these 2 loosen this for the big sprocket, and those other 4 right there, but you can't do it from the inside, which is kind of dumb, will loosen the tensioner. Then you take a block of wood, you place a block of wood right here, and you use a pry bar to lift up on that big sprocket right there. That will tension the drive wheel chains. And then while you're still holding up on the sprocket, you retighten these. I used a cordless impact to quickly tighten those back down. Once that's tightened, you go over to the tensioner sprocket. Take a hammer or mallet. I found a dead blow was the best. Could be just because this thing's so old and a little rusty. And you want to tap it down in order to take up the motor. That's from the shaft, the sprocket from the motor, and you want that takes up that and any slack there. So first you tighten these 2 down. Once you have that tensioned, that'll hold everything there. Then you tap these down. Then you tighten those 4 nuts that are on the inside. Now we're going to move on over to the other side. This one's a little more difficult. I'm on real premium for space in here at the moment. Too many projects. We got a sauna, water heater, so much. Now on this side, at first glance, it starts off about the same. You have the 2 bolts there, have the hole on the sprocket up. Now this one's already done. I had lots of fun loosening up these bolts and nuts today. Now this one, the tensioner is a little different. It's got 2 on the top, and then there's another one on the bottom. So we're going to look at this from the top. One thing I am going to recommend straight off the bat is to remove one of the hydraulic filters. I got it right there, and it's of course tipped over. Hopefully it's not leaking. Nope, I drained most of it out. That is a huge filter, and it blocks most of the way right there. Now you will see, let's focus. Got 1, 2. The first one's not too bad. The second one's terrible to get at. Don't even bother wasting your time with a ratchet. It will not fit. You're going to have to use a open-end wrench or a box wrench. And if you can, put a breaker bar on it, break those loose. Of course, again, I recommend spraying them. And then number 3, and I left my ratchet on there to make it easier for you to see, just because it is so difficult to see that one. It's down there. That one I went from the bottom up with a 1/2-inch ratchet. If you have a lift, it'll be easier to do the underside ones. I don't. I have a electric pallet jack somewhere on the other side of that sauna. But it's only a 1,000-pound lift, and this thing weighs about 2,000 pounds, so that didn't quite work. And I didn't feel like having a skid steer fall on top of me. I have kids that I need to support, and a wife. So I left the ratchet on there. I was able to tap the bottom of the ratchet with my hammer. Where did that go now? It was around here somewhere. And loosened it up. I left it on there, and that was the easiest one for me to reach to retighten it. So you loosen all 3 of those up, and the process is pretty much the same. So once with all on this side, all 5 of those nuts loose, you then put the block of wood right here, and use your pry bar to lift up. Now I know it's off a little bit, but you lift up on the sprocket. That'll first pull the drive chain's tension tight, and then I tapped that with my dead blow, and that tensioned the motor's tensioner, the motor chain tensioner, because that goes like that, and the motor sprocket is right down. You can just barely see that through the oil. Right down there. And there's the dipstick. And then again, I left my cordless impact on there. You can use a ratchet, doesn't matter, whatever you got. But it's just easier holding the pry bar with one hand. Snug, boom. Tappy, tap, tap. Ratchet on the bottom. Snug, tighten. Now, on this side, you're really going to want, let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's, you're really going to want gear wrenches. And that's, should be 3/4 gear wrench to do that. I wouldn't use it for tapping it to loosen, but there's almost no space to turn a wrench in there, so that worked much better. And there you go. I hope that helps somebody. I only made this. I'm no expert, and I'm learning this as I go. The only reason I made this video is because I couldn't find any other one out there on how to do it. So there you go. Adios.